Hey friends, today's topic is aim training in Destiny 2, utilizing the tools that the game gives you, and I'm not talking about the dinky little firing range behind the crafting table. I'm talking about purposely using bad weapons, bad weapon perks, sometimes a combination of both, to act as weighted clothing. You get to be Rock Lee, take off the ankle weights, drop them, put on Igneous Hammer, and then compete. But why stop at just having competitive aim when you can have transcendent aim and do pretty much anything you want in the game with any weapon? The sky is the limit because, no, the sky is actually the limit, like Bungie prevents you from jumping too high. But the sky is the limit. You can start shooting trip mines out of the air. You can become a one-man army with Crimson. You can turn auto rifles into a simple domain, where if your opponent steps within the 40-meter, 360-degree line of sight, you act on full auto reflex, putting them back in the spawn screen as you hear that little message notification. They'll call you a cheater, they'll write it on your Steam page, and you'll keep it there as a badge of honor to remind yourself how far you've become in your practice. At this point, you're used to people popping supers in front of you, and in fact, you think to yourself, that's great, you're in a well of radiance, you have more health, that's just more opportunity to show you I am built different. But I promise you, nothing will top the feeling of having another player mad at you playing controller just to switch to M and K, and then they're like, why do I hear boss music? If getting that good sounds interesting to you, well then you gotta start hitting the weights, and I'm not talking about the gym. But you should definitely do that too. This should help paint the picture. Introducing the Aim Trainer Alignment Chart, Matrix, whatever you want to call it. On the right, we have weapons that help train your aim. On the left, we have weapons that aim for you. As we move up, we get more competitive, and as we move down, well, we're throwing the match. A great example to start on is the bottom right. These guns are pure pain because of a perk called Slick Draw. You have to say the whole thing. So here it is, both Slick Draw and Gut Shot, functionally similar. They decrease auto aim size, as we can see on Destiny Item Manager. Minus 55% auto aim cone size. That's bullet bending. Minus 20% auto aim cone size. And that is why these guns feel bad, and other guns like Igneous Hammer feel really good. As we notice on the alignment chart as we climb all the way over here. But of course, you do want to see the worst weapon in Destiny 2. It is the cordless drill. I'm not sponsored. Unless I lied. I am actually sponsored by Ember Edge Mousepads. Most of y'all aren't used to me doing sponsorships, so this probably came as a surprise, but it should be no surprise that this is my main mousepad right now, as it has survived for multiple months in the Florida heat while I'm sweating game to game, and it still holds up. This is mainly due to the cloth hybrid humidity resistant material that this mousepad is made out of. You think you heard a buzzword, you're trying to click away. Well, I promise you, Patty did not give me a script for this. Yeah, he's the one who made this mousepad. He said I have full reign over my ad read. So I'm saying whatever is necessary to bump those orders up so I, in the future, can negotiate putting a anime made design on this mousepad since I use it day to day. No promises on the made thing, but I can get you 10% off this mousepad, assuming you like a mousepad that is a good mix of speed and friction. If that's the case, then navigate over to the description of this video, which you would be better and more accurate at if you already had this mousepad, and get your 10% off by following the link and or typing code CAMICAKES at checkout. And back to the video. Slick Draw, Gut Shot straight, and zero stability. So not only does it bloom out, not only do you get flinched like crazy, is the recoil hard to control, all of the above. This is pound for pound the worst weapon in Destiny 2. So as we start climbing up to more competitive weapons, we have something like an auto rifle with low base stats like this Koronok, or if you're mouse and keyboard, the Last Word. And this is probably where I find the most fun in the game, is this exact place on the chart where I do have to focus on my aim. It's a little weak to help other players catch up, and it keeps the matches artificially really close and interesting. But as we start to climb up, these auto rifles shove other players in a locker because of how consistent they are. These pulse rifles require tracking as we move more to the right. On mouse and keyboard, I think Crimson is a very, very competitive weapon and is great for going on streaks, and is why I recommend it in 6s so much. Cold Denial is a very unique pulse rifle that has 14 zoom. So it is just like a hand cannon, except it's a burst weapon, so it makes you have to track your target that much more. However, it's still an aggressive pulse rifle, or a high impact pulse rifle, and it's really sticky. As opposed to Warden's Law, which seems to miss everything because you have to be that much more on target. It's not that these guns necessarily miss, it's that Igneous Hammer shoots kitchen appliances. And you can say the same for SMGs of that caliber. You can say the same for Controller Last Word or Controller Crimson. Maybe perhaps Mouse and Keyboard No Time to Explain. And I suppose that we need to talk about these weapons now, which are Osteostriga and Divinity, which do aim for you, but they're not really competitive. If I had to break down the tiers, I would say over here is the area where you're going to say, yeah, I'm pretty good at the game. This is, oh, this guy's gonna be so mad because you have some sort of build concocted with either of these, throwing knives, whatever. This is the, I'm just trying to get better. And then this is the I play other FPS games quadrant. And if you're right over here in the middle, neutral, you definitely play other FPS games. The star of today's video is the Wardens Law hand cannon, which if you followed my other videos, you would know that this weapon is so bad that it got me kicked out of Skill Island. On controller, it's okay, but on mouse and keyboard, it is terrible. It's so bad that you have to focus on aiming good with recoil control. With other hand cannons in the game, you can just flip the mouse upside down, or if you have the audacity to put the mouse on the mouse pad that you should have got 10% off on, well then your bullets are just gonna magnetize even if you miss the head. I call this windshield wiper aiming, and you cannot do that with Warden's Law. You have to actually aim at your opponent. So the lessons that using Warden's Law will instill in you is tracking your opponent throughout every shot, and then also having recoil control. If you do both of these in tandem and switch to a totally different hand cannon, it doesn't matter if you get flinched by your opponent. The bullet bending is always going to be generous enough if your aim is that good to hit yellow numbers no matter what, meaning you will win all your duels if you can succeed with Warden's Law. That is the weighted clothing. So as the aim trainer alignment chart just demonstrated, Warden's Law has a mix of aim training and competitiveness, and the roll that I recommend is chambered compensator, so the recoil direction is 100, as well as it also gives you stability minus handling. You're going to fix all the minus handling with snapshot sights as the main perk. Then you go for steady rounds or anything that really boosts stability. I wish I got steady rounds here. For more stability, stability masterwork, and then the adept mod is, you guessed it, more stability. If I wanted some AE though, I would go adept Icarus grip with steady rounds again. In this case, I did get extended mag, but I don't think that is the move. You want as much stability and range combination as you could possibly get, although I lean more to stability because stability is anti-flinch. And along the same lines, the final perk I recommend is Zen Moment for anti-flinch. According to a previous TWAB, heavy burst hand cannons corrected an issue that was causing the hand cannons to have 25% less aim assist than other hand cannons when hip firing or airborne on mouse and keyboard, and that's what I recommend the input device that you use with Warden's Law is. Use mouse and keyboard, it will make you a better M&K player. Also, according to the Firing Range podcast, a dev revealed that in the future, this frame of hand cannons will have an inherent anti-flinch bonus associated with them. So if all of this lines up, I could realistically see myself maining these in a competitive light, something like Fighting Lion to Warden's Law. But in today's video, I am using a joke weapon. This is called the AA-12 because the goal here is to proc Cascade Point. Since I am using a double fire hand cannon, 2-shot burst, it can help proc Cascade Point without necessarily getting a kill. And in the Checkmate sandbox, I can just keep stacking up ammo and ammo and ammo and eventually unleash the third horseman on somebody. The AA-12, proc offhand strike, extend it even more, rip an entire team with just one single magazine of this shotgun. Or at least, that's what I wish could happen. And I keep it in my inventory just in case the stars align. You don't have to overthink the fragments, but in this case, I foregoed the extension to Radiant to instead just take extra stats and something that makes my golden gun more deadly. As for the mods and stat splits, that's really up to you. I always recommend going triple unflinching, and I do believe the gameplay featured is at tier 3 resilience, but for posterity, I went for 9 resilience because it's fun to not get flinched sometimes, even at the cost of recovery. With all that being said, I wish you all the best of luck on aim training. Hope you have a great session, and enjoy this gameplay. Not even joking, because actual primary fights happen on this map. Not just people flying at each other with shotguns. Of course, the exception of that is Fork, but I want to shell it anyway. Oh, we are getting pushed. Alright, let's go to house. I'm definitely feeling muscle memory on this. That last kill, of course not, but my overall consistency, it's very, very good on this one. Surprise ad.